Well, hello again, friends. Welcome back to the Square the Circle music channel. It's your old pal Mage again. Remember me? We like to talk about vinyl record collecting and music appreciation here at the Square the Circle music channel. So, yeah, we're just going to do more of that tonight. Thanks again, everybody, for your continued support. Here it is. It's April 1st. First on the list this evening, I want to talk about my contest. I started a contest earlier last month in March. Spent the whole month just really trying to crank out some content and kind of put the tendrils out there into the YouTube universe. And hey, it worked. All throughout the month of March, I think I got a little more than 100 subscribers. Pretty fucking cool, right, guys? So let's keep this ball rolling. Get me up to 500 by May 1st. We got one more month, kids. One more month. So, hey, all you cool cats here in the vinyl community, do a brother a solid. Do my contest thing. I know it's passe and it's fucking boring and oh, the desert island picks again. Oh, real creative, this fucking American. Just, dude, help a brother out. You make videos too, right? Make a fucking video about this dipshit over here in the States. He wants to hear about your Desert Island 4. Just fucking do a little video and put my name or a little icon of my stupid fucking face. Redirect all of your watchers and subscribers to my channel. Just share. Mom and Dad ever teach you how to share? Yeah, just do it. It's fun. Let's spark that algorithm, help me get to 500 subs, spread the love. So yeah, there's that. Again, just reminding everyone, go do the contest. It's fun. So tell me what you'd take. Help me get up to 500 subs. And the month of April should be grand, shouldn't it? All right, well, there's my piece. That's the first part of the episode. Now on to the funner part of the episode, what you all actually really came here for. I would like to talk about some of the exciting things that have been happening in the first quarter of this year, the year 2022, and some of the new releases of this year. Stuff that I'm really excited about, some of the stuff I've actually purchased. A lot of it I haven't, either because it's not available yet, because it's an up and coming, yet to be released, or maybe it's something that's only available to be downloaded, digital format, which is not something that I really do, unless there's an absolutely magnificent artist that I simply can't turn my back to. I'll go to their Bandcamp and I'll toss them that $12 and I'll download their album and I'll be able to enjoy it, when I'm at work with my earbuds in. But more or less, what do we talk about here? We talk about vinyl collecting, record collecting. So yeah, that's what I'm always kind of hankering toward. And so there's a few this year that already I've been super jazzed about. I've got some selections to show you, and again, like I said, some other stuff that I'll highlight. I'll throw up some some pictures here so you can check them out. But these are all my favorites of the year so far, and yeah, real cool list here. So let's just dive right in. Here's one I've already brought out before and talked about it a little bit. It was a birthday present to myself. I bought myself this LP as a little birthday gift a couple weeks ago. So I showed this off already, but it released very, very, very early on in the year, first couple weeks of January. Love the shit out of this. These guys, pretty effing cool. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Australian super psych rock wild boys from they're from another goddamn planet is where they're from. But this album especially, it's just another psychedelic rock, groovy, super masterpiece. They put out 2 or 3 albums every year. Each one has its own unique quality and kind of character and taste, and this one definitely isn't any different. Gorgeous artwork, really interesting, interesting group of guys. And I have really grown to love and adore this album over the last few weeks. Some really catchy tunes on here. Catch and Smoke, Catch and Smoke. Cool fucking song. They released a series of different variants. Each variant is released all in a different language. Not the music specifically, the music still, they sing in English obviously, but you know, on the labels and on the jacket and everything, you know, this one happens to be a Russian copy. You know, and they did one in Arabic, and they did, I don't know if it was in Arabic, but it was in some Middle Eastern language, and yeah, lots of different variants. Pretty cool. So this is one so far this year that I'm super excited about, and maybe it'll, you know, hang around, end up on my top 10 for the year. Who knows? Another really cool, very out there kind of psychedelic experience type of album again. Never heard of this gal. I guess she's kind of a brand new kind of up and comer in the world of popular music. I wouldn't say this is popular. It's a pretty, you know, small independent release, but pretty fucking amazing. This was a blind buy that I got at my local record store. You know, I trust in them and the stuff that they throw at me. This one's a winner for sure. A woman named Erica, is it Dohi? I think that's how you pronounce it. Dohi. But she is a Japanese born, but was raised in America, multi-instrumentalist, you know, composer extraordinaire. Absolutely fabulous. This whole album is very just, she's a pianist by, that's her first instrument is piano. So everything real piano heavy, and really beautiful kind of just like interlude style, you know, quick ideas, concepts in, you know, piano, but completely intermingled with all kinds of really fantastic psychedelic sound effects and some synthesizer, but primarily you're hearing just kind of like interesting, you know, tape reels and loops, and just kind of like all kinds of cool sounds just kind of smashed on top of each other in a really beautiful, you know, psychedelic way, with, like I said, just her kind of haunting piano melodies just, you know, thrown in the mix. It's really, yeah, it's kind of a dichotomous kind of just like, not so much so that it really kind of distracts your brain from just like getting fully absorbed. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I know that was like kind of a really abstract way of trying to get my point across, but you know, one of those things that, if you can imagine, like it's kind of scattered and kind of strange, but your brain makes sense of it all, and your brain kind of puts it all together, and it is really soothing in a way. So yeah, everybody check this out. Erica Dohi. Forgive me, the name of the album, Gasterpollux? Gasterpollux? Interesting fucking name. There's the title of the album. Gasterpollux. I have no idea what the hell that means. So, really fucking cool, guys. Check it out. Pretty excited about that one this year so far. Here's another really fantastic band that I've just discovered probably like 5 years ago, and I've grown to really, really love them. New release this year. Very exciting. Gorgeous artwork. This band called Palace. They're just a kind of pop rock, more kind of like a experimental rock. Hard to really put them in a genre. They're just really that cool brand of just ethereal pop rock from, you know, from Britain. They're fucking killer. I mentioned it's either their first album or their second album that was never reissued for like many years. I fell in love with it and then like could never get a copy of it, and finally they reissued it last year. It's called So Long Forever. They had another release after that, and then this one this year called Shoals. And yeah, just that artwork alone really reflects and kind of, you know, very representative of what the music is doing, what it's telling you. The music feels like, you know, when you're underwater like this, and it's a sunny day, and you just see the shimmer of the light, the sunlight, like shimmering on you, like through the surface of the water. That's what their music, you know, is representative of. It's very, very shimmery. Lots of, you know what I mean, lots of ethereal effects and lots of reverb, and very mellow. The dynamics never really kind of like, there's no real peaks and valleys. The dynamic of the whole album is kind of very just like, you know, echoey and washy and very watery. Love the shit out of it so far. I've only really given it a spin about maybe 3 times. So, but it envelops me every time. And yeah, it's pretty immersive. Cool album. Another really immersive, really, really beautiful, shimmering, shining experience. This is a French-Canadian group. It's really, I guess, I had to research a little bit of it because there's absolutely no liner notes. There's no insert. There's nothing about this group or whatever. I thought maybe it was one artist at one point. I had to really dig deep, not dig deep, but I had to look into this to figure out what the fuck it is, because it's all in French. I don't understand French, but they're a French-Canadian group from Montreal, I think, from Quebec. And I think it is primarily one individual, one man, who makes a lot of this music himself, but obviously there's tons and tons of instruments on this. It's an orchestral, symphonic, psychedelic, just mishmash of just all sorts of beautiful sounds and concepts, and just takes you away to a wonderful, wonderful place. No real highlighting of any specific instrument on this album. It's like I said, it's all just kind of like a big mishmash of, you know, kind of popular music, rock and roll, mixed with just symphonic. It's fucking out there in a great way, in a very beautiful, you know, expressive, and yeah, it's absolutely lovely. Flore Laurentienne. Flore Laurentienne. It's the best I can do. I don't know any French. Yeah, and I guess the album's just called Volume 1. But yeah, Flore Laurentienne. Pretty fucking cool. Everybody needs to check this out. I'm loving the shit on it. That one very likely gonna hang around for the year and end up being on my top 10. Probably this one too. Because I've just really grown a huge place in my heart for Scandi jazz. Everyone loves that that Nordic and Scandinavian flavor of jazz, rock, stoner jazz, fusion jazz, whatever you want to call it, that a lot of groups are doing up there. It's pretty amazing. And this group's called Little North. It's fucking amazing. Album called Familiar Places. And yeah, it's exactly that. It's just really cool, smoky, kind of stony, experimental jazz. And when I say experimental, I don't mean in the sense of the avant. I mean, it's very just kind of like experimental in a sense of just like, it's got psychedelic undertones of, you know, psychedelic blues and psychedelic rock. But, you know, there's lots of experimentation with meter. There's lots of experimentation with just quirky feelings and just, you know, I don't know. It's a cool different breed of stony jazz. I love it. That's just kind of what I call this stuff, stony jazz. It's jazz for stoners. You know what I mean? These guys are fucking cool. They know what they're doing. They're playing their instruments like absolute champions. So everybody check this out. On an interesting new label I've never heard of. The label is called April. April Records. And I think they're out of somewhere in Norway. Denmark, maybe. Sorry, something I'll have to research further. But yeah, somewhere up there in the Nordic countries. So yeah, everyone look into this. It's pretty fantastic. Okay, well, those are all the physical copies I've got so far that I'm like set in stone. Glad to have them as part of my collection. Here's some stuff. I wrote down quite a few that I'm kind of excited about that have yet to be released. Actually, this first one on the list was just released like 5 days ago. So I haven't had a chance to get a copy of it yet. They don't really get circulated in America right away. Their second to last release did. I saw it in the record stores here almost right away, but I got a copy from not Australia, but probably the UK almost right away. But anyway, blah, 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 blah. Really fantastic. Again, Australian rockers, psychedelic rockers. They're called the Psychedelic Porn Crumpets. And they came out with their newest release about 4 or 5 days ago. So I've yet to pick that up, but I'm super excited about that. It's called Night Gnomes. Again, really kind of like really vivid, psychedelic, really cool artwork that they're really known for. It's blasted all over the cover. A little bit darker, a little bit more kind of like intriguing this time, rather than just being like a big wash of like psychedelic colors all over the album. So yeah, this one should be a fantastic listen, just like the rest of their albums. So another one I'm really, really, really excited about because they just dropped just a single, which a lot of groups aren't really doing that much these days. I mean, some kind of do, but they're really, go to bed. Get out of here. Sorry, everybody. A little bit of a brief disturbance. Little shithead stealing stuff from the fridge. Talking about one of my very favorite bands, one of my favorite awesome fucking sludge, noise, in your face hard rock bands. They're called Horrors. They're fucking fantastic. They have had at least, their first was an EP, their second was almost kind of like an EP too, but a little bit longer. And then their third real big LP about like 4 years ago called Gold. And now again, they're gonna put out an album. I don't even know what it's called. I haven't seen any other hype about it, but they did release an awesome single called Imposter Syndrome. So yeah, everyone check out Horrors, dude. Oh my God, they're such a great fucking band. You like anything about, like I said, just kind of that noise, you know, driving hard, sometimes real sludgy. They're very, you know, reminiscent, that you can tell they worship that era of rock and roll and the stuff that was going on here in the Pacific Northwest. Melvins, you know, it's magnificent. They're fucking so great. So yeah, everybody check out that new single that they just dropped. It's all over Spotify. It's all over everything. So, and I, you know, can't wait to see a little bit more and hear a little bit more about this album. It's supposed to be coming out. I have no idea what it's called or when it's coming out. So we'll see. Another one that I don't believe has fully dropped yet. I know you can download it digitally from, probably from Bandcamp or wherever else. And I brought these guys up recently because they're just one of the coolest new prog bands that I have come across. And they're totally new, contemporary guys, like from here in America. They're from Texas, and they're just a duo. They're just fucking amazing. They're called the Hallucinant Telepherique. If you guys haven't heard of them yet, and any of you prog nuts, I've mentioned them a little bit here, but dude, check them out. A lot of times can be real kind of more rip-roaring hard rock, psych rock, really incredible guitar playing. They're a duo of brothers from Texas, and one of the brothers is just kind of primarily just really slaying the shit out of his fucking guitar. And especially on the previews that I've heard of this new album, it's really guitar heavy, and it's way more kind of like out there psychedelic hard rock than their previous work. But still super proggy moments, super like lots of really cool, you know, Rhodes keyboard and Hammond organ and tons of, you know, just that shit that everybody loves. The sounds that you get, the mellotron and stuff like that. And then he does all the rest of the other instrumentations, plays the drums, some bass guitar, but mostly just keyboards, drums, sound effects, you know, synth galore. Really amazing project. So, oh, I didn't mention the name of the album. Their newest that they are soon to drop is called The Resonant Star. Resonant Star. So yeah, everybody look forward to that if you guys are into prog, you know, or kind of like the more kind of heavy psych kind of prog. Pretty fucking cool. Some other great shit that I'm really, really excited about that I haven't been able to pick up physical copies of it yet because it's pretty kind of like out there. Really, you don't stumble across this stuff where I live, here in the States. It's stuff that kind of has to be ordered from, far off lands that, most of the time these artists aren't, pressing records for us. It's just kind of stuff that's available by download online, just kind of more kind of rare oddities, so, but I definitely want to bring them out and mention them because they're fucking amazing. I'm going to have to refer to my notes here a lot because, like I said, these are kind of like, more kind of exotic bands for me. This band is called, I'm going to try, La Striko, and the album's called Sezje. I don't know where the fuck they're from. That sounds like it's probably, I'm going to say Hungarian maybe, Czechoslovakian, I don't know, something like that. But it's really fucking cool in the same realm of what I was just talking about, the Hallucinant Telephorique. Awesome psych jazz, kind of krautrocky, it's super spacey, super spaced out, ethereal, kind of some jazzy elements and moments, some real kind of hard rock. Dude, it's all over the place. It's psychedelic as fuck. It's so beautiful. It's wonderful. So Sezje, I think it's called, by a band called La Striko. Check that out, guys. It's not super short. It's like 35 or 40 minutes. So I guess it could classify as an EP, really. There's only I think it's 4 tracks. But yeah, I wish I could get a physical copy of that. I don't think they've made any physical copies. Only available via download. So check it out. Another one that is pretty, I mean, it's psychedelic by nature, but it's more kind of like a real, it's kind of hard to explain. I guess just they're kind of more bluesy. Yeah. The note I wrote down here, I wrote Samsara Blues. You guys ever listen to Samsara Blues? It's like that. Anyway, they're called Squar. Don't know where they're from. Kind of a cool name. Gorgeous artwork on the cover of the album. The album's called Wandering Haze. Kind of a dumb name for an album, but cool band name, Squar, and it's great. Like I said, just kind of it's not like fuzzy garage rock. It's like psychedelic, ethereal, heavy blues, kind of stony rock. Pretty fucking cool. So yeah, check that stuff out. Here's one that I was really excited about because I love me some great ambient music, and I especially love kind of like ambient electronic, like drone, like low drone. This is really like low drone almost. There's not actually like any real like, monk chanting on it. It's not like Gregorian chant going on, but there's the low drones and the synthesizers going on. It's so deep and dark and husky. It's pretty amazing. And the group is called, the artist is called Blade of Kino, and it's kind of like, what people like to call dungeon synth these days. It's a dungeon synth album, but not so dorky. It's not just like random crazy synth sounds. It's all, like I said, very drone oriented ambient, really cool electronic album. The album's called, is it just called Balance? Is that what I write? My handwriting's terrible sometimes. Blade of Kino and their album Balance. Pretty dope. Everybody check that out. Another new one this year, and something in the same ilk is a band called Ulk. Cool band name. Again. And again, it's kind of a dungeon, like dark synth type of album, all instrumental. Gorgeous artwork, again, on the cover. That's how I kind of discover these bands, is I'm just like, I'm either fishing through the internet or I'm looking at other things and I just see this, gorgeous cover art, and it's captivating and it takes me away, and I'm like, I gotta check this out, and I click on it or whatever, and it just, yeah, I love the shit out of it. A little bit more instrumentation, kind of like, lighter in nature, not so kind of like drony and heavy as the last group I was just talking about. This just has a little bit more of kind of like thematic elements to it, and yeah, it has melody, it has plenty of melody. No real, there's no real meter to it. There's no real rhythm or beat to any of it. It's just kind of like lofty melody and Yeah, but still kind of has a little bit darker of a tinge, kind of that dungeon synth kind of sound like I've talked about. But yeah, those are all really fantastic artists that you guys really need to check out. The last one on my list this one's kind of way at the top of the list for me. It's pretty dope. Another one of those bands that are kind of like doing this real kind of, I wouldn't call it newfangled progressive rock, but it's taking a lot of the old sounds of progressive made popular in the 70s and kind of, reworking it, reinventing it, and making it real cool, cutting edge, and still very, very progressive. Not really kind of ripping too much off. This one reminds me a lot of like early era, I won't say early era King Crimson, but kind of like the early portion of the era that a lot of people love most about King Crimson is like, just prior to the Lark's Tongue and Aspic years, when you get that kind of like interesting, like their sound was metamorphosizing. It's like, where are they going with this? What's gonna happen? And I'm talking about like islands and yeah, just like the that whole just kind of like really experimental, strange kind of sound. Like there's actually violin, like fiddle on this album. But did I even say the name of the album? Anyway, this group is called Red Frame. Everybody check out Red Frame, specifically this album. Okay, again, sorry folks, I'm gonna give it my best shot. I think the album is called Wakapakoko. Wakapakoko. That's pretty fun to say. Check out Red Frame. Like I was saying, if you dig any of that early career King Crimson stuff to the mid era that you love, 1971, 2, 3, 4, King Crimson, there's violin on this album. There's all kinds of excellent keyboards, super cool, just, experimental rock, progressive, jazz undertones, like really fucking great. So that one's also probably going to stay pretty high up on the list, be probably on my top 10 at the end of the year. We'll see. Still too early to tell. Too early to tell, folks. But that's a lot of the shit that I'm jamming on so far early on this year. Yeah, check all those hits out and get back to me. Yeah, I hope you folks have a great weekend, and probably see you again next week. Go down to my contest and check it out and make a video and say, hey everybody, go over to the Square the Circle music channel and subscribe to his channel. Do me that favor. Thanks, vinyl community.